we'll pop over to Mele today.
Thanks.
Okay,
Thank you.
that's all
Um,
good. I'll just introduce you.
sure.
So we've got our next presenter is Mele Palu from the University of Sunshine Coast. Mele is a HDR candidate at the UniSC, a casual teaching associate with the School of Nursing at Southern Cross University, and a registered nurse in women's health in Mid-North Coast Health. Her research sits at the intersection of Indigenous health, gender, migration, and cultural safety within a human rights framework. Drawing on cultural methodologies from Tangan and, oh, I'm so sorry, Itawake, scholarship Malay explores how these perspectives can inform more culturally safe sexual and reproductive health pathways for female migrant workers in the PALM scheme. Today, she presents a methodological approach to using the Indigenous Kakala research framework to promote culturally safe sexual and reproductive health for female migrant workers in rural New South Wales. I am so sorry for my mispronunciations, and we are really looking forward to hearing from you today.
Thank you so much, Zoe, for that beautiful introduction.
Thank
And I
you.
will mention some of the things that you mentioned in the introduction because it is a lot. Um, and so to begin, I just want to say malolele, bulavinaka, halopalava, and kia ora. I would like to take this opportunity to show respect and acknowledge the traditional custodians of these lands I live and am presenting on, Gambaya country, and the continuing connections to the Gambaya people I have through the universities, the medical clinic, and the base hospital I work at, the high school my husband teaches at and children attend, our culture club, and through the Pacific Island diaspora communities I am connected to. We acknowledge, we live and work and practice our hybrid culture on Gambaya country. I want to begin by sharing a little about myself to give you context of my research, which looks at female migrant workers on the Pacific Australia Labour Mobility Scheme and their access to culturally safe healthcare from a right to health approach. My name is Mele. My father is Tongan and my mother's family is Italki Chinese. I was born in Tonga. We moved to Aotearoa in the 1980s when I was 7 years old. I want to acknowledge Māori and Aotearoa lands, these lands that my family identify as home away from home. By the mid 1980s, my family was granted citizenship. So we had moved from temporary migrant visas and a family visa to New Zealand citizenship. This changed the whole trajectory of my family and I's lives and what we had access to, particularly healthcare and education. In the early 1990s, I was a student in one of the first nursing schools to integrate cultural safety as a unit. My research topic is in response to the questions and conversations I've had with female migrant workers at the health clinic that I work at. It's a women's health clinic. And it is also a response to the conversations that I have with Pacific Island health practitioners in my own diaspora. I am using the Indigenous Tongan Kakala Research Framework as an overarching framework for my PhD thesis. I chose this framework specifically because of its cultural and ethical appropriateness for both I and the research population, the Pacific Island community. My research takes place not only in Australia, but takes place also in Tonga. I want to show you a kakala. This is in Tonga known as a kakala. In Australia, we might call it a garland. In Tonga, a familiar sight is a group of women sitting under a tree making kakala or a garland. There is a method and processing for making specific kakala for specific occasions. This one here is made especially for a talunga dance that my daughters perform here in our area. I am following the same thinking when I'm applying the process of making a kakala to research. The Kakala Research Framework has 6 steps, and I want to talk about the first step because I'm very early on in my PhD. The first step is called 2, which is essentially the stage of preparation. This first stage involved preparing and shaping culturally safe processes. And this meant sharing who I am and learning who my supervisors are. This cultural exchange is important in Tonga in order to know how to position yourself. And so I gave my supervisors homework. I asked them to create a time map of their intellectual and cultural journeys. This work is based on some researchers' work at the University of Sunshine Coast looking at time mapping in doctoral education. I want to show you my time map. It's okay if you can't read the words, but I hope you can see that it is a collage. Also in it is a print of a lino cut that I had created. Through this process of sharing our time maps, we were able to have very deep conversations and came to a very deep understanding of the thoughts and experiences that would contribute to this supervisory process. And it led to even more homework. And this homework was to engage in continuous reflective writing through journaling. Through journaling, my supervisors can create a space, a culturally safe space for me. This process of critical reflections, sharing, led us to establish us, my supervisors and I as a collective, rather than I as an individual researcher. This meant shifting our perspective in this research to more of a collectivist one. And this also shifted the power dynamics and addresses power imbalances that may be found in intercultural supervisory groups such as ours, which we may not be conscious of. From this whole process, we were led to more homework. And this homework was to write a shared acknowledgement of country. Creating a shared acknowledgement of country with my supervisors was essential to this 2 process, the first stage of the Kakala research framework, as it is a part of developing an authentic introduction to self. And it reminds us that acknowledgement of country is recognizing that country is a word for all the values, the places, the resources, stories, and cultural obligations that we have to areas. All these activities and all this homework help to build trust and relationships, which is central to Indigenous research methodologies and also to cultural safety. And I just want to leave it there because if you have any questions, I'm very happy to be able to answer them.
Thank you so much, Mele. I wonder if anyone has any questions for you in the chat. You're getting lots of...
It's so late in the day, Natasha. It's 5:30 here in New South Wales. And I thank everybody that's actually here, that they've, stayed.
I felt like that was a show and tell today with you bringing all your stuff in. So thank you so much. I appreciated that.